To say all hell had broken loose would be a vast understatement. A more realistic assessment of what had happened in the aftermath of SCP-001, the lock being opened, would be every hell had broken loose, along with every heaven, every anomaly, every ancient god and buried horror, every nightmare from outer space and from different dimensions, every agent of the apocalypse, every emissary of Ragnarok, every entity, sentient and otherwise, with a vested interest in seeing the world as we know it come to an end. So it goes without saying the SCP Foundation and their allies had their work cut out for them. So before we march once again into the terrifying future, let's quickly refresh our memories as to how we got here. The lock had started off as a mere curio in a 19th century explorer's vast collection, before it fell into the possession of the SCP Foundation and became designated as SCP-001. For years, the lock perplexed people with its seemingly limitless mysteries, from its origins to its strange markings, to what would happen when the lock is finally opened. And it would indeed be opened, in perhaps the ultimate example of, be careful what you wish for. An entity known as the Harbinger invaded Site-10 and used a special key to finally open the lock, triggering the ultimate apocalypse. Anomalies became more powerful and escaped containment all over the world. Animals mutated into giant monsters and began causing chaos. Mythological creatures such as the goddess of SCP-1000, the mighty Norse Fenrir, and an entity that transformed into a giant evil duck went totally berserk. The lock itself completely blew up Site-10, before remaking it and its personnel elsewhere, and turned the crater where Site-10 used to be into an incredible otherworldly valley on Earth, where an even more incredible meeting would soon take place. SCP-990, the Dream Man, came to the administrator of the SCP Foundation and warned her of impending doom, but she decided that no matter how dire things got, the Foundation would fight back. And that brings us to the star of the show, SCP-343, also known as God, but please, call him YAHWEH. No point in sticking to formality here at the end of it all, right? Ever since the lock was opened by that pesky, mysterious Harbinger, he'd been an extremely busy deity. Last time we saw him make his long-awaited rendezvous with another SCP-001, the Gate Guardian, whose true name was revealed to be Uriel. YAHWEH instructed Uriel to open the gate to paradise, releasing his armies of powerful sword-wielding angels upon the Earth. And now we're all caught up. Let the madness commence. After instructing Uriel to free his armies and lead them in a war against evil, YAHWEH decided to address the most powerful humans on Earth and enlist them in his fight. Those same arrogant humans who foolishly believed they'd been containing him all this time, and not that he'd simply been choosing to stay with them. Perhaps now they would see sense. YAHWEH manifested physically in 13 different places at once and spoke to the O5 Council. They were filled with awe and holy terror as the deity appeared before them like a glittering ghost, eyes glowing, exuding pure power. Speaking with absolute authority, he said,
Uriel, my servant, once told your founder to prepare for the great and terrible day of the Lord. This day now approaches. Make your final preparations. There is nothing else you will need to do but wait. My armies ride across the earth. Soon I will call the 4 horsemen. Once the last judgment has been unsealed, then shall the great and terrible day of the Lord come. And then all will have paradise.
And with that, he was gone, leaving the most powerful human beings on Earth shaken. It was about time they got a reality check about their true cosmic insignificance. Still, the act of splitting himself 13 waves briefly gave YAHWEH symptoms similar to vertigo. During his confinement, he hadn't needed to truly flex his power, and now he was finally beginning to feel the limitations of this human form. But he didn't have time to muse over the nature of human frailty, as the world he worked so hard on began to crumble around him. He needed to return to the valley, the precursor to Eden's return, the valley where only he had set foot. He breathed a sigh and teleported there, prepared to finally be alone and collect his thoughts. But he wasn't alone. You've probably heard salacious stories about parties getting out of hand. It always goes the same way. A birthday party or small gathering created as an event on Facebook, but accidentally set to public. Not long after, little Andrea's quinceañera or Joe's bar mitzvah suddenly has 5,000 attendees, all strangers, and the riot police are called in to get the chaos under control. Now imagine that same thing, but instead of rowdy drunkards, it's cosmic figures and apocalyptic beings from all over the multiverse. And now you know what YAHWEH walked in on. Welcome to the Valley of Gods and Monsters. It was crowded with beings that would boggle your mind to even comprehend. Deities with 2 limbs, 6 limbs, 100 limbs, or none. Spirit whales and feathered snakes flew overhead, with clouds of intelligent insects and fae flying just below. A giant furred creature moved over a distant mountain, looking on. A pure black humanoid entity appeared before YAHWEH, blinked, and then vanished. Moments later, a giant centipede-like creature skittered past him, giving him a nasty glare. Everyone was here. The pantheon of Greek gods, from Zeus to Hades, every Egyptian god and monster, the bird-headed Ra, the jackal-headed Anubis, the monstrous snake beast Apep. The Norse gods were drinking and having rowdy conversations with the Hindu deities. Entities so ancient their names have been forgotten, and monsters whose faces had only ever been seen in the restless dreams of billions of humans, then quickly forgotten upon waking. In short, the gang's all here. YAHWEH, for the first time ever, was feeling lost, confused, and even small. He decided to mingle with the crowd of humanoid gods, wanting to be with people who looked like him. There he met a dark-skinned woman with long hair and lip piercings known as Ashera. Although his memory of her was faint, she reminded him that she was once his consort, back before he made the admittedly jerk move of wiping out all the other pantheons of history so that he could rule over the cosmos alone. But now, with the opening of the lock, everyone was back, ready to cause the apocalypse. But here was the problem. They didn't just want to cause the apocalypse, they wanted to cause their apocalypse. Every belief system had its own vision for how this strange little show we called Earth should end, and not all of them were compatible. So a very heated debate was breaking out as to who should really get to bring the world to an end. And the most darkly funny part of this? Very few of these gods, entities, and creatures even knew about each other until a few moments before. So the fact that they had this level of competition was a very unpleasant surprise. To put it in perspective, imagine you're Neil Armstrong, circa 1969, taking the Apollo 11 shuttle straight to the moon. The craft lands, he's suited up, preparing for the first ever moonwalk, his iconic quote, "This is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," already looping in his head. Then when he steps off the craft, there are already several people on the lunar surface, lounging on deck chairs and asking him if he'd like a beer. When he asks them what the hell is going on, they tell him they just got here an hour ago and were making themselves comfortable. YAHWEH was beginning to realize that perhaps he really didn't hold the sway he thought he did. Any Bible fans in our audience will know that the plan for the Christian apocalypse is laid out pretty clear in the book of Revelations. Satan, armies of angels, giant scorpion locusts, and in the end, the rebirth of paradise on earth. YAHWEH thought, all things considered, his version of the end of everything actually shook out pretty well for everybody. A little temporary hell on earth and painful damnation aside. But here he wasn't the holiest of holies. He was just one guy with a big picture idea, alongside so many other beings, each with their own big picture designs for ending things. All except Ashera. She'd spent time in a mortal form on Earth and had really grown to like the place in that time. So much so that she didn't want to see it end in any manner. In her own words to a baffled and somewhat offended YAHWEH, "I may have been called here, but not even that lock can make me end the world. Have you ever tried the seafood in Singapore? Have you ever used a smartphone? Ran through the jungle? Seen Cirque du Soleil? Flown on an airplane? Surfed the internet? Watched tentacle porn? Seen Star Wars? Explored the Wanderer's Library? Been lost in the concrete mazes of the new human cities? No, I like the world the way it is, thanks. It may be messed up, but tearing it apart isn't going to improve anything. So no, I don't plan to end the world. I actually don't plan to let you end the world either, or anyone else. Sorry." YAHWEH was somewhere between enraged and amazed. His former consort was not only willing to go against him, but every cosmic being here. She was staring down the barrel of quite literally infinite power, and yet she still stood in defiance of them. YAHWEH was about to retort when something even more bizarre happened in the Valley of Gods and Monsters. A woman's voice rang out, simply saying, "Pardon me," in a calm, even tone, that somehow caught the attention of every deity and world-ender in the valley. They turned in amazement to see a human woman in a gray suit standing among them, a face that somehow all these supposedly all-knowing beings couldn't seem to recognize. But if you SCP Explained fans have been perceptive in the previous videos, it's a face you'll know all too well: the Administrator. Never shifting her tone or raising her voice, she said, "I come on behalf of the SCP Foundation. Some of you know who we are, some of you do not. The Foundation are the protectors of humanity. Some of you we have imprisoned, some of you we have bargained with, all in defense of humanity. I've come to talk." Some of the entities laughed. Others sneered. Was this woman really arrogant enough to believe that humans had a seat at this table? No, their place was resting on the plates, subject to the mercy of teeth and silverware, not conversation. They asked what she wanted, more out of morbid curiosity than any real desire to know. She replied, "We can open the way to worlds free of sentient life. Many worlds. Enough room for all of you. You won't have to end this world. No humans will have to die. You will have 100 others. I want you to let this world live out the rest of its history in peace, and in return for this, we will not destroy you." Some laughed, others chided. Most just remained in silence. When none accepted the Administrator's offer, she simply shrugged and calmly delivered what seemed less like a threat and more like an ironclad promise to the Valley of Gods and Monsters. "We are the Foundation. We will not worship you. We will not join you. We will not go back to hiding in fear of you. I hope you will change your minds, but we will stand against you, and alone, if we have to. All of you." And for a fleeting moment, before the Administrator vanished, YAHWEH thought of himself as SCP-343. Then, she was gone. At that moment, the war for the fate of planet Earth had truly begun. Now go check out Children of SCP-001 The Scarlet King. Is SCP-999 really his son? And SCP-001 Ouroboros Cycle, the full story compilation for more of the universe-shattering implications of SCP-001.